WWE Clash at the Castle is this weekend, and we are going to be going through the full predictions of this gigantic, massive match card. It is not. It's 5 matches again, Triple H. Come on. But let's start things off with the World Heavyweight Championship. Drew McIntyre goes up and challenges the champion Damian Priest. We just saw on Monday Night Raw that they were going to try and add a stipulation in there that if we were going to have Finn Balor beat Drew McIntyre on Raw, then Judgment Day could interfere in the match. If Drew McIntyre won on Raw and beat Finn, which he did, Judgment Day is now banned from ringside. So this is going to be a straight up one-on-one match, presumably just straight up, between Drew and Judgment Day's world champion Damian Priest. How do you guys feel about this? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoy videos like this, do Matt a favor. We're almost at 5,000 subscribers. It would mean a lot if you hit the subscribe button and hit a like on this video too. It goes a long way. This match, this feud, I've been kind of lukewarm on Damian Priest. I like him and I like how he has developed over time, but him as world heavyweight champion, it hasn't clicked with me. And I don't think WWE has done him many favors either, to be honest. With the few months only that he has had this title belt, he hasn't felt like a big priority. The big story for Judgment Day is Liv and Dom. That's the main story of their group. Damian Priest with the World Heavyweight Championship just hasn't felt important. It's felt very secondary. So it really feels like this is Drew's title to win, to then go on to fight CM Punk at SummerSlam. So my prediction here is that Drew is going to win. And because Judgment Day is banned, we could get a couple of things happening here to make it interesting. Will it be straight up one-on-one? I doubt it. I think that they will throw some extras in here into this match to make it interesting. I think that Judgment Day will come down. Referee bump, something like that. So then Judgment Day can get involved. But I think what ends up happening is Damian Priest ends up pushing away Judgment Day, telling them to leave because it's supposed to be straight up. So I think what you get here is potentially a little bit more of a face turn for Damian Priest. You're gonna have a really hot crowd, which is gonna be great, but it's in Drew's home country. So I am going with Drew McIntyre wins the world title from Damian Priest, but I think it's going to result in the crumbling and the dismantling or the starting of it for Judgment Day. Liv is involved with Dom and sitting on him on Monday Night Raw and straddling him. Like, Liv is horny for this guy. And that is, Carlito's in there too, which is hilarious. That's the main story for them and the build of when Rhea Ripley will return. I think you got to move Damian Priest over there, dealing with that, and maybe putting the pieces, starting the momentum of the Judgment Day breaking up, where you have Liv involved in Judgment Day. Carlito is in there too. He's in the clubhouse. Damian loses the world title. Rhea comes back. She sees how everything is in shambles and falling apart without her, and she comes back in a big way. Drew McIntyre wins to then set up CM Punk versus Drew. If Drew does win, I can totally see them having Punk's music hit at the end of the match, just kind of an extra little pop for the crowd. So if Drew wins this thing relatively clean, he doesn't do shenanigans, but if he wins it clean and he's holding up that belt, I think you give that crowd a really good go-home feel, whether this opens the whole night or it's the closing match, which I think it should main event, to be honest. But if this closes it, no matter what happens, I think you should have Cult of Personality hit. Punk comes down to the ring, Drew holds up that belt, and you have CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre ready to go. You could do the rematch of Priest and Drew at Money in the Bank if they wanted to do that, or put Damian Priest into the Money in the Bank ladder match, something like that. But let's move on to the next match. Next match is going to be the WWE Women's Championship. Bayley going up against the challenger, Piper Niven, who's also going to her home country. This one, I will say, felt thrown together. However, I really like Piper Niven's promo she did on SmackDown last week against Bayley. Finally giving her some mic time, talking about her character, how she has been in the industry for so long. She's finally getting this opportunity. It had passion. It felt real. I liked it a lot. I think you're going to have both of them kind of going in there as big time baby faces. You'll have Chelsea Green ringside, which I think will be the X factor in this match. What I see happening is Bayley retains her title, stands up, Piper and Bayley shake hands. You might start to turn Piper face. because the women's tag team division is all over the place right now. And Chelsea Green, Piper Niven are excellent talents, but what else can they do with the title division, with the tag team title division, other than just go for the tag titles once again? And as we'll talk about in a minute, it's kind of loading up over there on the women's side. I don't think you need them as a tag team much longer. I think a cooler story is the breakup between the two of them. Piper becomes much more of a face, and Chelsea Green continues being the heel that she is. Because then I want to see Chelsea in Money in the Bank ladder match down the road. To me, Bayley wins clean, no real shenanigans, but I think you could start seeing the deception of Chelsea Green with Piper to kind of get their story going into, say, SummerSlam as a blow-off. And I've been waiting for this one. Chad Gable versus Sami Zayn. The Intercontinental Championship is on the line. Alpha Academy is in a real hard place, aren't they, right now? The big question mark for this is Otis. We almost had Otis turn on Chad Gable. He still took out Sami Zayn. It was kind of a rinse and repeat from the weeks prior, but he's finally about to crack and the crowd wants it. When Otis gets on screen, fans are cheering for Otis. They want him to turn. They want it to happen. WWE is doing that thing where they're just going to slowly tease it, and then everyone's gonna pop. I think they're going to get the big pop and the big moment at Clash. What I like to see happen, I would like Chad Gable to win the IC title. I don't think Sami Zayn needs the title. I think it was cool that he was the one to take down Gunther. I don't need Sami with a long IC title run. He is a good underdog, sympathetic babyface. He's had the title for a couple of months. I'm good. You could even move Sami up into the world title scene if you want to do that. But I don't need him with the Intercontinental Championship. And you could tell more of the story with Alpha Academy and Sami, but having Chad Gable as the IC champion. Personally, I do think Chad needs the belt. I think he needs to prove his point as a character that he is the champion, that he can do it. He can defeat Sami Zayn. Sami's had his number multiple times since WrestleMania and before that. And so Chad kind of needs that win, especially as the heel. The question mark will be, I think, Alpha Academy's involvement and specifically Otis. How does this go? What I'd love to see happen, you guys let me know what you want, but I love to see it where Chad Gable wins, has Sami tap out or something. Maybe you have a situation where Alpha Academy wants to like interfere and stop Chad Gable. And maybe Sami's like, back off, it's okay. Like almost like in defeat, he'll die on the sword kind of thing. And maybe Sami then just takes the loss. He taps out or passes out from submission. Chad Gable winning the Intercontinental Championship, I think, is the right move. And then at the end, you could finally have the big turn and you have Otis turn on Chad Gable, which could then set up Chad versus Otis at SummerSlam. I skipped Money in the Bank only because you could do, it's in Toronto and I'm going, which is going to be fun. Yay. But you could do the rematch. You could have Chad Gable versus Sami Zayn rematch for the IC title. You could have Sami and Otis in the Money in the Bank ladder match and do that. I think you'll have Sami Zayn on that card one way or another. If you had Otis in the Money in the Bank ladder match, it would be kind of good and it would work. Chad Gable gets involved and Chad costs Otis Money in the Bank, and it kind of circles back as well. Otis winning Money in the Bank years prior, fumbling it. That was referenced on Raw a while ago. I think you could do that. Have Chad retain at Money in the Bank by, screwing, getting a DQ finish, something like that. Get the heat all over him. And then heat him up even more by costing Otis Money in the Bank, and then they're off and they could have a blow-off match at SummerSlam. It's a great way to build Otis. That is really what's cool here, is they are keeping Sami Zayn relevant, hot. He's gonna be kind of there. He's always constant. You are building Chad Gable as this really fun, cool heel, kind of like a Kurt Angle. That's all I can kind of compare to, but he's doing his own thing. And I really like what they've done with him, and I want to see more of it. And then you are at the same time really building up Otis as that underdog babyface is about to pop, kind of like they did with the Bloodline and Jey Uso. And then he finally breaks away and breaks free. And you get that moment and that payoff. So I think we see the first bit of that payoff at Clash. Next match is going to be the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill are the champions. They are going up against Alba Fire, Isla Dawn, Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark. Triple threat tag match, which is kind of fun. This one they have at least been trying to build over the last couple of weeks. I am really glad that Alba Fire, Isla Dawn are finally back on TV. They're drafted to Monday Night Raw. Yay. And you're seeing the cross promotion stuff where you're getting the tag team champions on Raw, even though they're on SmackDown. So it's a good way to feature everybody. Bianca and Jade are very dominant. They are a very dominant over babyface team. I don't think that stops. I would like to see Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark pick up the tag titles personally. I think they could use it more, but I don't think Bianca and Jade lose those titles until they're ready to. They're too dominant, and they've been showing that they are dominant. So I think it's also a way that Jade is getting better and better in the ring, but she's not quite there in my eyes in terms of, like, you know, doing a full match on her own for a very long time. So a triple threat tag, it's a good way to get her in, get the big high spots in there, and get them out. So I do think that tag team champions, Bianca, Jade, I think they retain the titles. And the final match that so far has been announced for this card, and it's probably the main event. I think the world title should honestly main event, because we've seen this match before, but it'll be interesting nonetheless. We have AJ Styles challenging once again Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship in an I Quit match. Is it WWE Championship or is it undisputed WWE Championship? You know, WWE keeps changing their mind on this. Like, I've heard Cody reference just WWE Championship. I think they're dropping the undisputed. That's what I think happened. They need to give us a Cody title, like just an American Nightmare version WWE title. Anyways, I Quit match between these two. Love that they're doing the I Quit stipulation. AJ Styles' whole teaser retirement thing was a lot of fun. He powder blue suit a la Mark Henry with the salmon colored suit. We all knew what was coming with this, but hey, you know what? It's a great way to further the story and do it one more time. You know, I was wondering how they were going to get here, how they were going to do another match other than just straight up AJ challenges them again. This has been a good way. You're seeing Cody get frustrated. There's a lot of good history between these two. And frankly, their match at Backlash together was incredible. It was a great match. It was also in France and the crowd was absolutely nuts for Clash. You were going to get a very hot crowd and it's going to do well once again. The I Quit matches are tricky because it's all boiling down to the very end. It's like a last man standing match. You're kind of waiting until the very, very end or when you think the finish is there. So the challenge I have watching an I Quit match or a last man standing is the actions during the match don't really matter that much. I'm waiting for the last 5 minutes. That's how I feel about watching them. But a lot of interesting stuff could happen. I think Cody retains. AJ is not winning the WWE Championship from Cody Rhodes. It's not going to happen, but they got to do something that is going to either screw AJ over, screw Cody over to forward that and kind of get them out of it. I think AJ ultimately does say, I quit. How we're going to get there is the interesting piece. Can't be straight up. I don't think the match stipulation itself is enough to make it that much more interesting. Cody winning, telling him, and AJ saying, I quit, and that's the end of the match, doesn't do enough for me. I need more story in there. I hope that we are going to get teased with something else in this match. Maybe it's going to be bloodline interference. Maybe the bloodline is going to try and take out Cody at some point. You never know. Bringing in Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, who knows? But I think more needs to be done in this. Then we're looking at Money in the Bank and SummerSlam. And I think the bloodline, The Rock, that story, Cody's next big feud, it's got to start happening. And I don't think it's going to be AJ at Money in the Bank for a third time and AJ loses 3 matches straight. They got to do something else. Question mark 2 is, what are we going to do with AJ Styles after this? Good heel turn. He's been heel for a while. Great matches with Cody, but he's not winning. So is AJ just going to cycle down and go for the US title? Is he going to stay trying to feud with Cody? I'm curious what they will do with AJ Styles after this. Maybe AJ, to be honest, maybe he loses again. He quits. Maybe AJ does come out on SmackDown and decides and talks to Nick Aldis and is like, I want to go to Raw. And maybe they do a trade. And then you get a big star from Raw, and I don't know who, but maybe you get a big star. Jey Uso. There you go. Maybe you get Jey Uso traded from Raw and trade him over to SmackDown with the Bloodline. And then you can trade AJ over to Monday Night Raw. So then AJ can go after the world title, which would be a lot of fun. AJ versus Punk, AJ versus Drew. Mixing it up there with Judgment Day. There's a lot you could do with AJ Styles on another brand. Because otherwise, I don't know what you do with AJ just sitting on SmackDown for the next couple of months. But those are the predictions we have here. And guys, let me know your predictions. Drop them in the comments below. And thank you so much for supporting the channel. Hit a like, subscribe to the channel. It helps us out a lot. Have a great day. See ya.